All right, welcome back to our show. This is our second half of our Thursday morning show. I have Brian Armstead calling. Brian, good morning, sir. Where are you calling from today, sir?
Hey, James, Anna Marie. I'm calling from my home, believe it or not. I've been on the road. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
here.
You've been gone.
I'm actually here on the air.
Yeah, you've been gone everywhere. I mean, I've been following you on Facebook, but you've been on the East Coast, the West Coast.
I've been everywhere, James,
yes.
and my body really. I mean, I've got nothing accomplished. This is the first thing I've gotten accomplished this week is calling in. I mean, I've been exhausted. I'm literally, and now we're snowed in here on the East Coast, so I've just been kind of catching up on my rest, man. I've literally been exhausted, mentally and physically. So
I know I've
taking a week off.
Wow, you do a lot of traveling.
Next week I'll be in New York all week for the New York Auto Show. So next Thursday, I'll be calling in from the New York Auto Show. And we'll be talking about what's new and what's hot from, for 2019 and beyond.
That's interesting.
But
it is.
You got the venue just a little bit off there. I was maybe 7,000 miles away from Hawaii. And I don't know the exact miles. I'm just being silly this morning. But I was in Crested Butte, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
For the Kia winter driving experience, and I don't know if you've ever had a chance to just go flat out on a snow lake, James. But it's just
I never have.
OMG, what an experience! I mean, you think you're good behind the wheel because you drive. Well, have you ever driven in snow?
When I was once, and I did it. Went to a wedding, and it was the most miserable experience of my life in a Chevrolet Cavalier.
Okay, so well, that would explain it. I mean, even in dry weather, the Chevrolet was pretty miserable experience.
It was.
But for your listeners and viewers who, maybe came down to Florida from the north, Michigan, wherever, just to get away from all this ice and snow. Driving on ice and snow can be deadly, as we have seen countless times over and over again, where they get these 4x4s. They think they're God. They go out on the road. They end up dead because they overdrive their vehicles and they don't understand the dynamics and the physics of a tall car. It's what an SUV is. And I'm not saying the only people in SUVs overdrive their cars. It happens in sedans. It happens in coupes. It happens. People just don't think behind the wheel. I got to get to where I'm going. But it typically happens in SUVs because I've got this big Suburban, and I paid $100,000 for it fully loaded. I've got all the doodads and whistles, and I'm just going to blow past everybody because I've got 300-plus horsepower.
Yeah, wrong answer. Yep.
You're going to end up in a ditch on your roof, and don't wish that on anybody.
That's right.
So to have experience in driving in the snow, and most of us, we know that if the back end starts moving to the right, you turn the steering wheel a little to the right to correct it. Well, if you have an all-wheel drive car or four-wheel drive car, all four wheels are turning at the same time. Not at the same time, but they're turning to help keep you on the road, driving in a straight line and going through a turn. Basically, a rear-wheel drive car is the worst you can have in snow and ice because the rear, and I don't know all the dynamics here, but the rear is not loaded enough with weight because the engine is up front. A front-wheel drive car pulls you through a turn. A rear-wheel drive car pushes you through a turn, and pulling is better than pushing. And with a all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive car, you get push me, pull you. You get the whole works there. You get pulled and pushed at the same time. However, not all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive systems are the same. So Kia with their new Stinger GT, and you recall, James, I've talked about it a couple of times with you. I have just gushed and waxed ecstatic about this car. It's available in 5 different trim levels. The base at 31.9, 2-liter, premium at 37.1, GT with the V6 at 38,350, and then 2 super high-performance models, the GT1 and GT2, with the GT2 topping out at about 49.2 before you add any options, and there aren't many at that level.
Let me ask you now: which one of these is Steven Tyler driving in the commercial that we see on television?
You better believe he's driving a GT2, baby.
I looked at that. I went, man, if I could go backwards like that and take 30 years off my life, I said, I don't know if I would do that or not, but it's a tempting idea. It really is. But that's a Stinger GT V6. Is that the one they're showing right there?
That is correct.
Okay.
And it puts out about 376 horsepower, 365 horsepower, and 376 pound-feet of torque. It's a blast to drive in any weather. Now, the GT models are available in either all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive.
Okay.
So, obviously, you can't take a rear-wheel drive car out on the ice and have any fun with it.
No, true.
So, Kia, all of the models are available with optional all-wheel drive, all the Kia Stinger models.
Okay.
So, Kia took us up to Crested Butte, Colorado. We drove the new 2019 Kia Sorento, which is pretty terrific, but we also drove the Stinger on ice and snow. We had professional instruction. One of our instructors was Tommy Kendall, the legendary race driver. So basically, this Kia Stinger GT has integrated all-wheel drive. You can choose the all-wheel drive parameters with the drive mode select button. It's a rotary dial on the console.
Okay.
So normal mode, you're driving along. You've got a 40-60 front-rear split with the Kia Stinger GT, or with their all-wheel drive system. In sport mode, it's more rear-wheel drive bias. It's like a 20% front, 80% rear split.
Okay.
So basically, we took laps on different courses. We had an acceleration course where we got to feel how the car, accelerated in the snow. And then we had, a curve course where we got a chance to drive at high speeds around curves, which was really a phenomenal experience because with this GT, with the GTs that we were driving, and we only had V6s out there, you put that baby in. Well, first of all, you go around in normal mode. You can feel that all the systems are taking, all these, systems are taking over for you and kind of controlling your life. And you don't want that on the ice system if you're trying to have fun. That's what you want. That's what you want if you're in traffic and you're trying to be a goody two-shoe.
Right.
When you're out there on a lake, man, and it's frozen over and it's got snow everywhere, you don't want to go around a corner and have the engine kind of drop the speed and drop the torque because all of the electronic stability control systems, all these different dynamic control systems, dynamic torque vectoring control in the car, are telling you, hey, you're out of control, you got to slow this baby down, we're going to shut the engine speed down.
That's right.
No, you switch it to sport mode. And then you switch it to sport mode with no electronic stability control, and you really can just go bananas out there on the course. Now, for the most part, we drove in sport mode because you do need a little bit of assistance out there if you don't want to end up going around in circles, which is what a lot of people ended up doing. But we had a Gymkhana course, where we had a competition. I did not win, but had I been on the long course, which is where all of the courses were combined, I would have come in number one because I was just letting it hang out there and slide. The car is supremely predictable in sport mode. You go into a turn hot, you kick the steering wheel to the right, the rear end comes out, you counter steer, and you keep your foot on the throttle, and you power your way through the turn in the snow. And it's just it was an exhilarating experience at 8,000 feet, just at the base of the beautiful Crested Butte mountain. Colorado is stunning.
It is.
I had a little bit of altitude sickness, a lot of us did, but what an experience, man, just driving this thing on snow and ice. And here I am, a big guy, I can fit perfectly in the sedan. It's a 5-door, it's a hatchback, it's got all kinds of storage room in the back, but it's also a snowmobile.
Really?
So if they don't sell 100,000 or 200,000 of these cars next year, I'd be surprised because they have really worked hard. The Kia media team with James Bell and his crew, and the Kia marketing team, under the guise of COO Michael Sprague, you see commercials everywhere. Emerson Fittipaldi, Steven Tyler. The car is everywhere. It's been on the Today Show. It's been on every show you can imagine because it's just that good.
And now,
North American Car of the Year. I'm sorry?
Now, in the commercial, you're talking about Steven Tyler. There's a couple other faces in there, and I'm sitting there going, I should know those faces. One is the other race car driver. I should know him, and I should know who the black security guard is. Their faces look familiar, and I said, let me ask Brian Armstead. He might know who they are, who those characters are.
Well, I don't recall the commercial in its entirety, but I do know that Emerson Fittipaldi has done commercials for the brand. Let me go back to, here he is right here. If you go to the Stinger homepage, boom, there he is standing with what looks like the Indianapolis Speedway.
Right.
In a beautiful red Kia Stinger GT. So as far as the black guy security guard, I don't know who that is.
To me, it looked like Lamont from Sanford and Son is who I thought it was. When I looked at it, I said, that can't be Lamont from Sanford.
I think Lamont's dead.
Well, he may be, but that's just telling how old he is. I looked at it and said, he's got to be someone we know here. I'm going, but he looks so familiar, and I said, well, Brian Armstead might know who he is. But but I got to admit, Kia has come a long way. I mean, when they had when they started out with the hamsters, and everybody thought that was kind of cute. But they have done, I mean, that commercial with Steven Tyler with the racetrack going backwards. I looked at that. That really was a cutting edge commercial. I got to admit, that really caught my attention. I think it did a lot of people's.
No, I just want to add that the Kia Stinger GT comes with some pretty aggressive performance tires on it, which would be virtually worthless in the snow. And that was evidenced by the fact that they had a new 2019 Atlantica model out on the racetrack, which got stuck in the snow. Ooh. Well, what's a person to do if you want to go out and drive on the snow? You get yourself a set of Michelin Pilot Alpine PA4 tires. They've got exceptional control in snow and ice with all kinds of silica-based tread compounds. The tread remains flexible even under the coldest conditions.
Oh.
They've improved acceleration and braking due to an asymmetric tread design, James.
Okay.
And they have what's called StabilaGrip 3D type technology. And this tire, let me tell you, if you live in a cold climate, a winter climate, dedicated snow tires, as you may not know, James,
I don't know.
Live in a cold environment. A dedicated snow tire is the best investment you can make. You can even take a rear-wheel drive car like a Chevrolet or a Volvo or whatever, put a dedicated set of snow tires on, and you can tackle light amounts of snow with a rear-wheel drive car, because these things just bite like they just slip down into the snow.
I did not know that. I had no idea.
So the Michelin Alpine Pilot PA4, super aggressive tread pattern for the snow, a dedicated winter tire, the combination of torque vectoring all-wheel drive and Stinger, and these Michelin Pilot Alpine tires. What a combination from Kia, the new Stinger GT, terrific vehicle. Visit kia.com, James, for more details. Next Thursday, again, I'll be calling in from New York. We'll chat about the New York Auto Show.
Sounds great.
Good to be back on the air with you guys.
Good to have you. Brian, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much. We're up against the clock. We'll talk to you again next week at the New York Auto Show. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Talk to y'all tomorrow morning.